All right, today we're going to dive into something that's, well, it's one of the most powerful forces shaping our world right now: artificial intelligence. And look, this isn't some far off futuristic thing anymore. It's here. And the speed at which it's arriving, it's literally compressing history. To really get a feel for the speed of what's happening, let's put it in perspective for a second. Think about this. It took us, as a species, about 10,000 years to go from inventing writing to creating the printing press, okay? Then it only took another 500 years to get to email. And now, we're right at the dawn of the AI age. I mean, this is what technological whiplash feels like. And that's why getting a handle on AI isn't just, important. It's absolutely urgent. This crazy fast acceleration, it can feel like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? And movies tend to paint AI in these wild extremes. It's either a perfect utopia or a total robot apocalypse. But the truth, as it usually is way more complicated. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all those sci-fi cliches and really try to understand what AI actually is and how it's already, right now, weaving itself into the very fabric of our lives. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What is artificial intelligence, really? Well, at its core, the whole goal is to build systems that can think and act intelligently, all on their own. And for now, the ultimate benchmark for what intelligent means, it's us. The whole game is about engineering technology that can mimic the incredible things our own minds can do. And when we say AI mimics human intelligence, we're not talking about some single magical thing. Nope. We're talking about breaking down our own skills into jobs the computer can do. So computer vision, that's teaching a machine to see. Natural language processing, that lets it read and write. Speech recognition lets it listen and speak. And machine learning, that's all about finding patterns in mountains of data. We're basically teaching machines to have our senses and our logic, but on a scale that's just unimaginable for us. So now that we've got those building blocks down, let's look at one of the most ambitious AI projects out there today. This one goes way beyond just copying a single skill. It's trying to build something that feels like, well, like a digital consciousness. This guy here is Mark Sager. And get this, he's an Academy Award winner for his special effects work on movies like Avatar. Now he's asking one of the biggest questions you can imagine. His project is called Baby X, and it's this incredibly lifelike simulation of a toddler. He's using it as a kind of lab to see if it's even possible to build a digital consciousness. I mean, talk about a profound and pretty humbling goal. So the engine that makes Baby X tick is something called a neural network. The easiest way to think about it is like a virtual, super simplified version of our own brains. But instead of neurons, it has these digital nodes. And just like our brains, the more stuff these nodes see and hear, images, sounds, words, the more connections they make and the smarter they get. They learn. But let's keep things in perspective here for a second. The human brain has something like 85 billion neurons, all firing away nonstop, processing this insane amount of information. Baby X's brain? It's a radically simplified model of that. And that comparison really shows you two things at once: the incredible inspiration behind AI and just how monumental the challenge of actually copying a human brain really is. So how does this digital brain actually learn? Well, it's all about making connections, kind of like a human kid does. First, the AI sees an image, let's say a spider. At the exact same time it hears the word spider, the neural network then gets to work linking that picture with that sound. You do that enough times, and then you test it. You show it a new picture of a spider, and boom, it knows what it is. That right there is machine learning in action. But Mark Sager's vision, it goes way beyond just recognizing objects. He's working in a field called affective computing. And this is really the next frontier. We're talking about designing AI that doesn't just think, but can actually understand, process, and, get this, even simulate human emotions. And here's where it gets absolutely mind-blowing. Sagar can actually teach Baby X to connect that spider image with the feeling of fear. If he says "scary spider" in a startled voice, he can trigger a reaction. And this isn't just some pre-programmed animation. No, it actually sets off a virtual stress system inside the AI. It releases digital versions of hormones like noradrenaline, which puts Baby X into a state of high alert. It's a simulation of an emotion, right down to the virtual brain chemistry. It's incredible. Okay, so the whole quest to build a digital consciousness it's huge, it's profound. But what about the impact of AI right here, right now? Let's shift gears a little bit. We're going to move from creating digital life to a story about how AI is being used to restore and even enhance our own lives. And this is where the technology gets really, really personal. I want you to meet Jason Barnes. He's a musician who lost his arm in an accident. For him, this wasn't just losing a limb, it was losing his entire life's passion. So he reached out to this researcher at Georgia Tech, Gil Weinberg, and asked him a simple but powerful question. Can your technology help me play the drums again? And the answer to that question is this, the Skywalker hand. It's a totally revolutionary prosthetic. And its key innovation, the thing that makes it so special, is powered by AI. It gives amputees something that was pretty much impossible before, control over each individual finger. Now, to really get why this is such a massive breakthrough, you have to look at the old tech. Standard prosthetics, they use these things called EMG sensors that just pick up vague electrical noise from your muscles. It's an all-or-nothing kind of deal. You can basically open your hand or you can close it. That's it. The Skywalker hand, though, it uses an ultrasound probe plus AI. It doesn't just listen for noise, it actually watches the muscles move in real time. This lets it figure out the super subtle intention to move just one single finger. And this is where it all comes together. It's like this seamless translation of thought into action. Jason just thinks about moving his phantom index finger. And even though the finger isn't there, the muscles in his arm that used to control it, they still fire. The ultrasound probe sees that specific muscle movement and creates a live image. Then the AI, which has been trained on tons of these images, instantly analyzes that pattern, predicts what he wants to do, and tells the prosthetic hand to move the index finger. It's just a stunning collaboration between the human mind and a machine. And this, right here, really gets to the heart of it. Like Gil Weinberg says, the story here isn't about AI replacing humans. In cases like this one, it's about AI enhancing us. It's about restoring abilities that were lost, and maybe even creating possibilities that never, ever existed before. Look, technology that can give a musician his passion back, that is undeniably a force for good. But this growing power, this deeper and deeper connection between machines and our own bodies, our own identities, it forces us to ask a really tough question. As these abilities keep growing, where do we draw the line? I mean, how far is too far? And that question, it pushes us into some bigger, more philosophical territory, doesn't it? We have to start thinking really hard about what all this means for our identity, for our personal freedom, and even for our definition of what it means to be human in the first place. So the musician and tech visionary will.i.am is actually exploring these very questions head-on. He's working with Mark Sauger's team, the Baby X guys, to build a super realistic digital avatar of himself. And a project like that, it just forces you to confront how blurry the lines are getting between our physical selves and our digital selves. He's even coined a term for it, identity, identity plus data. His whole point is that in today's world, we are our data. Think about it. What we like, where we go, who we know, what we search for, all these digital breadcrumbs are becoming a huge part of who we are. So his avatar is basically an attempt to take control of all that data and program it into an intelligent being that is, in a very real way, a digital extension of himself. And this leads to the ultimate challenge, right? Not just for engineers, but for philosophers too. Can you actually build an AI that's truly autonomous? A digital you that can think and learn and act all by itself? I mean, that's not just a tech problem anymore. Now you're digging into the deepest questions humans have ever asked. Questions about consciousness and choice and the very nature of free will. So whether we're talking about building digital brains or bionic limbs, the path forward seems to be getting clearer. The future probably isn't going to be humans versus machines. It looks like the next great chapter of our history is going to be defined by human cooperation with the intelligent machines we're creating. So, as we wrap this up, let's just land on this one final thought. AI, it's not just another tool. You can think of it more like a technology that's giving us superpowers for our minds. It's enhancing our creativity, it's restoring our abilities, and it's letting us solve problems on a scale we never could before. So the ultimate question really isn't what the technology is going to do, it's what are we going to do with it? How are we going to choose to use these new powers?